The restaurant hums with quiet conversation, the kind that seems to float between polished tables and crystal glasses. Afternoon sunlight spills through tall windows, casting warm gold across white linens and polished marble floors. The scent of rosemary, citrus oil, and expensive wine hangs in the air. Everything feels serene, almost too serene. Elena balances the tray at table 9, forcing her breath to stay steady. But her hands betray her. The wine bottle shifts, the glasses rattle, and for a moment she imagines everything crashing to the floor in a violent shatter. She catches it before disaster, holding her breath so tightly her ribs ache. No one notices. Except him. He sits alone in the secluded corner booth, the one reserved for men who never wait for anything. His suit is dark, sharp, impossibly tailored. His posture relaxed, almost casual, yet there is nothing casual about him. His gaze moves slowly across the room, like a man assessing threats he already knows how to eliminate. His eyes are steady, cold, focused. Elena has seen powerful men before. Men with money. Men who tip generously and forget you exist the moment they leave. But this one is different. His presence wraps around the room like tension in a wire, quiet but impossible to ignore. She approaches his table with practiced calm, shoulders back, voice even. "Good afternoon, sir. Can I start you with something to drink?" He does not look at the menu. He looks at her. He studies her face in utter silence, as if trying to remember where he has seen it before, or imagining where he might see it again. "Water," he says at last. "Still. No ice." She nods, steps back, ready to escape the pressure of his stare. "Wait." Her pulse spikes. "You're new." Not a question. A statement. 3 months, she answers. He nods once, slow, like the information confirms something only he understands. Then he dismisses her with a small flick of his hand. She turns, weaving between tables, but the air feels heavier now, as if the room itself is shrinking around her. Her heart beats faster than her steps. She feels seen, exposed, catalogued. Halfway across the restaurant, a phone rings loudly in the kitchen. Urgent. A second voice follows, tense and sharp. Then another. Something is wrong. She glances over her shoulder. He's still watching her. But now, he's smiling. Not kindly. A slow, controlled smile that chills the blood. The kitchen door swings open. Marco steps out, pale and stiff. He scans the room like he's searching for an exit no one else can see. When his eyes land on Elena, he hesitates, then flicks his gaze toward the corner booth. "Elena, come with me. Now." Confusion knots in her stomach. She takes one step. But the man in the booth raises a single hand. Marco freezes. Time freezes with him. The restaurant seems to go silent all at once, breath held by every wall, every glass, every light in the room. The man rises slowly. Calm. Certain. He buttons his jacket one button at a time, like ritual. Then, with a voice that carries more authority whispered than most men have when shouting, he says, "Lock the doors." And suddenly Elena realizes the truth. He wasn't watching the room. He was watching her. The sound of the locks clicking into place echoes through the dining room. Each lock lands like a gunshot. One by one. Front entrance. Side door. Emergency exit. Every click feels final, heavy, irreversible. The diners freeze. Confused eyes scan the room. A woman in pearls hesitates. A man in a gray suit checks his watch. No one speaks. No one stands. They all feel the shift, even if they can't explain it. Elena's hands go cold. Marco stands near the bar, pale and motionless. His jaw clenches tight. He looks down at the floor, like a man accepting a fate he can't escape. The billionaire walks toward her. Not fast. Not aggressive. Just steady. Certain. Like a tide rolling in. She steps back, heel catching the leg of a chair. She steadies herself, breath shaking, pulse pounding under her ribs. He stops in front of her. Close enough to smell cedar and smoke. Close enough to see the scar along his jaw. Close enough to feel the weight in his eyes. You speak Italian, he says. Her stomach drops. She hasn't spoken Italian here. Not once. Not since she arrived. She was careful. She promised herself she would blend in. I don't understand what you mean, she says softly. He smiles. Empty. Cold. Don't lie to me, Elena. Her name freezes her in place. Not her name tag. Not the shortened version she gives customers. Her real name. Her throat tightens. She wants to run, but her legs won't move. He reaches into his jacket slowly and pulls out a photograph. He holds it up, letting the light reveal it. It's her. Younger. Outside a cafe in Florence. Laughing. Someone beside her, arm around her shoulders. The man's face hidden. Where did you get that? She whispers. From someone who thought you were dead. Her breath cracks. You disappeared 6 years ago, he says, voice calm and deliberate. No trace. No word. They searched. Then they grieved. They buried a coffin with no body. Her eyes burn. You don't know anything about me. I know everything, he says quietly. Your father owed the wrong people. You ran to protect him. You've been hiding ever since. Her world spins. She grips a chair, clinging to reality. And the man in the photograph, he continues, lowering his voice, was my brother. Her knees almost buckle. No, it can't be. Luca was gentle, kind, soft-spoken. He didn't belong in this world. He couldn't have. You're lying, she breathes. He pulls out a second photograph. Crime scene tape. Blood on stone. A body under a white sheet. He died 3 months ago, the billionaire says. And the last word he spoke was your name. Elena's vision blurs. She can't breathe. So, he says, sliding the photos away, you and I need to talk. He gestures to the booth. Sit. She doesn't sit. She can't. Her body refuses the command, like her bones have locked themselves in place. Her pulse feels like thunder in her ears, roaring louder than every voice in the room combined. She stands there trembling, staring at the booth like it's an open grave waiting to swallow her whole. The sunlight pouring through the tall windows feels wrong now. Too warm. Too golden. Mocking the coldness settling into her ribs. I said sit. His tone is unchanged. Calm. Controlled. That deep certainty that belongs to men who never repeat themselves. Men who are accustomed to obedience. Marco shifts behind the counter, hands trembling around a cloth he isn't actually drying anything with. His silent plea says everything. She forces movement into her legs. One step. Then another. Her knees nearly buckle, but she keeps going, guided by instinct, or fear, or both. She slides into the booth mechanically, palms pressed flat against her legs to keep them from shaking. He takes his seat as if gravity obeys him differently than everyone else. Every motion is precise. He adjusts his cufflinks, straightens his sleeve, smooths his collar, as though this were a casual meeting in the middle of a quiet afternoon, not the unraveling of an entire life. The restaurant holds its breath. Conversations have died. Silverware rests abandoned. The soundscape has narrowed to silence, heartbeat, and fear. Elena keeps her eyes lowered, focused on the tablecloth, on the neat fold near her wrist, on the glass of water before them both. Condensation drips down its side, slow and inevitable. She focuses on that. Anything but him. Look at me. The request lands like a verdict. She lifts her gaze. His eyes are colder up close, as if the darkness within them deepens the longer she looks. Not angry, not cruel, just absolute. A man who witnesses everything and forgives nothing. How did he die? She asks, voice a fragile whisper. Does it matter? Yes. He studies her expression, peeling back every emotion beneath the surface. He takes his time. He wants her to feel every second. He was shot, he says quietly. Twice. Clean. Quick. No mercy. Her breath stumbles. Her hands clench. She forces herself not to break. Not here, not surrounded by strangers. Who did it? She chokes out. That's what I intend to find out. He lifts the water glass and takes a slow, controlled sip. Not a tremor in sight. But I will need your help. I don't know anything, she insists, though her voice betrays her. I haven't seen Luca in years. I didn't know he was gone, he finishes, or involved in things he kept from you. Each question cuts deeper. You thought he was safe, the billionaire continues, voice low. You thought he was untouched by the world you were trying to escape. Her throat tightens. He loved me, she whispers. Perhaps, he says. But he lied to you. About everything. Her chest aches, like something collapsing inward. He unlocks his phone and slides it across the table. Elena looks. The photograph steals her breath. Luca, not smiling, not soft, surrounded by dangerous men in dark suits, standing beside a warehouse, holding a briefcase like it weighs a lifetime. She pushes the phone away as if burned. That's not him. It is. Why show me this? Why pull me into this? Her voice trembles. I left all of it behind. I disappeared. Because, he says, leaning forward, 3 days before he died, Luca sent a package to this restaurant. Her veins freeze. It never arrived, he continues, which means someone intercepted it. Someone who knew exactly where you were. Her hands grip the edge of the table. Who? She whispers. That, he says, standing slowly, is what you will help me uncover. He buttons his jacket, gaze sharp as a blade. You have 2 choices, he says. Come with me now, and stay alive long enough to be useful. He pauses. Or leave through that door, and not survive the night. She can't breathe. The air feels thick, heavy, impossible to pull into her lungs. Her vision narrows, and at the end of the tunnel, only him remains. Dead by sunrise. The words repeat in her mind like a sentence already signed. Delivered calmly. Almost casually. As if he were talking about the weather. She looks around the dining room. At the diners. At Marco. At the locked doors. Everyone is silent, frozen, trapped in the same invisible cage. No one will help her. No one can. I need time, she whispers, voice barely recognizable. You don't have time. Please. They already know you're here. He nods toward the windows. They've known for weeks. Maybe longer. The only reason you're still breathing is because they wanted to see if you would lead them to the package. But now that I'm here. He lets the silence finish the sentence. Her hands shake violently. She presses her palms against the table to hide it. Why should I trust you? She asks. You shouldn't. His honesty cuts deeper than any threat. But you don't have another option. Her thoughts spiral. Luca's face. Blood on cobblestone. A package that vanished. A life she built piece by piece, now collapsing. If I go with you, what happens? You answer my questions. You help me find what Luca sent. He pauses. And when this is over, you disappear for real. New name, new country, new life. She swallows hard. And if I can't help you, if I don't know anything, he doesn't blink. Then you were already dead. This only gives you a few more days. His bluntness steals what air she has left. She looks toward Marco. He stands behind the counter, hands clasped tightly, eyes wet with fear. He knows. He understands. She thinks of her mother. A funeral for a daughter who wasn't gone. She thinks of Luca, bleeding alone, whispering her name. She thinks of the girl she once was. Hopeful, trusting, safe. That girl vanished long ago. Okay, she says. It feels like surrender. He nods once. The man in the black suit steps forward, phone pressed to his ear. Eliminate access. Back entrance. Immediately. The billionaire turns toward her. Stand up. She rises slowly. Her legs tremble beneath her. Remove your apron. She unties it. Lets it fall to the floor. Leave your phone. She sets it down beside the glass of water. Good, he says softly. Now walk. Stay close. Don't look at anyone. Don't speak. She hesitates. What about them? She asks, glancing at the diners. They were never part of this. He leads her toward the back of the restaurant. Every step feels final. They pass through the silent kitchen. Knives frozen mid-cut. Pans held mid-air. Every gaze fixed on them. The back door stands open. Sunlight pours through. A black car waits. Its engine hums like destiny. The man in the suit holds the rear door open. The billionaire gestures. Get in. She hesitates one last second, thinking of who she was, who she loved, who she lost. Then she steps inside. The door shuts with a heavy final sound. The car pulls away, and the restaurant disappears behind her like a life fading from memory. The car moves like a shadow through the city, smooth, silent, forgettable on purpose. Elena sits perfectly still, hands folded in her lap, eyes forward, breathing only because she has to. He sits beside her, scrolling through messages, relaxed, detached, like he didn't just destroy her entire life in one conversation. The driver stares ahead, focused, expressionless. They pass the bakery she visits on slow mornings, the old bookstore with peeling paint, the small park where she used to sit alone, pretending she was ordinary. Those pieces of her life feel distant now, like memories forced through fog. Where are we going? She asks quietly. Somewhere safe. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. She swallows the anger building inside her. Anger won't save her. Anger won't bring Luca back. How long have you known I was here? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Watching. Waiting. Judging. You just watched me. Like that. I needed to be sure, he says, that you weren't working with whoever killed him. I would never. I know that now. I didn't then. Silence falls between them. Heavy. Suffocating. What's your name? She asks. Dante. The name feels sharp. Like glass. Like something that cuts on contact. And you're really Luca's brother? Half-brother, he says. Same father. Different mothers. Luca was the good one. She hesitates. What does that make you? He gives a hollow smile. The one who stayed. The car turns off the main road. The streets grow quieter. Trees line the sidewalks. Large houses hide behind tall gates. Her pulse quickens. You said safe, she whispers. I did. This doesn't look safe. That's why it is. The car enters an underground garage. Concrete walls. Fluorescent lights. Too quiet. The engine shuts off. Dante steps out. Straightens his jacket. Looks at her through the open door. Come on. Elena hesitates. Fear coils in her stomach. How do I know you're not going to kill me? If I wanted you dead, you wouldn't be asking that question. She gets out. The air is cold and damp. Every sound echoes. They walk toward the elevator. The driver watches them leave, silent and alert. How well did you know him? She asks. Dante's jaw tightens. Pain flickers across his face like lightning. There, then gone. Not well enough. The elevator doors slide open. Empty. Metallic. Reflective. Inside, their reflections look wrong together. Like two people from separate worlds forced into one frame. He talked about you, Dante says suddenly. Her breath catches. He said letting you go was his mistake, Dante continues. He was trying to fix it. Elena closes her eyes as the elevator rises. What was in the package? I don't know. But it cost him his life. The door opens to a quiet hallway. Only two doors exist. He unlocks the one on the right. Your new home, he says. Inside is a cold, beautiful penthouse. Empty. Silent. Like a museum built for ghosts. You'll stay here, Dante says. No calls. No leaving. No windows during the day. I'm a prisoner, she whispers. You're alive. That matters right now. He turns to leave. Dante, she says softly. He stops. I'm sorry. For Luca. A long pause. So am I, he says. The door closes. The lock clicks. And Elena is alone. She doesn't move for a long time. Just stands there, alone in the middle of this cold, beautiful cage. Silence fills the room like pressure. The city stretches beyond the glass. Thousands of lights. Millions of lives. All of them continuing as if nothing has changed. She walks toward the window, then stops. Dante's warning echoes in her mind. Don't go near the windows. Someone could be watching. Someone patient. Someone waiting. Her reflection stares back at her. Same face. Same hair. Different eyes. She looks haunted now. The apartment feels untouched. A showroom disguised as a home. Perfect. Empty. Unreal. She walks through it slowly. Kitchen. Stainless steel. Marble surfaces. A stocked fridge she can't stomach opening. Bedroom. A king bed. White sheets. Clothes in her exact size waiting in the closet. Prepared. For her. How long had Dante planned this? In the bathroom, the mirror reveals someone she barely recognizes. Pale. Hollow. Shaken. She splashes cold water on her face. Once. Twice. Again. It doesn't help. She sits on the couch and tries to breathe. Her body is exhausted, but her thoughts don't stop. Luca sent something. Something worth dying for. But why her? They hadn't spoken in 6 years. He should have forgotten her. Moved on. Unless he knew he was running out of time. Unless he trusted her more than anyone else. The weight of that thought breaks something inside her. Tears come quietly. Hot. Relentless. She cries for him. For the path they lost. For the life they never lived. When the tears stop, she wipes her face and forces herself up. She needs to think. What could Luca have sent? Documents. Money. Information. Her mind drifts back 6 years. Florence. The small cafe. Nervous laughter. late nights, whispered promises, until everything fell apart. 3 days before he died, he sent something to her. He must have known. Her pulse jumps. Her breath catches. Then, footsteps. In the hallway. Growing closer. She grabs a knife from the kitchen, hands trembling. The lock beeps. The door opens. Dante steps inside. He sees the knife. Planning to stab me, he asks. She doesn't answer. I said you'd stay here, he says. Not that I wouldn't check on you. Slowly, she lowers the knife. Dante opens the fridge, takes a bottle of water, and drinks. You've been crying, he says quietly. What do you want? To talk. He studies her carefully. You said you haven't spoken to Luca in 6 years. Yes. But you loved him. She looks away. That was a long time ago. Love doesn't disappear, he says. It just hides. She breathes out slowly. What do you want from me? The truth, he says. Every detail, every place, every conversation, everything he ever gave you. Why? Because the answer is somewhere in your memories. She tries to think. Florence, the apartment, the river, the nights that felt endless. There was a book, she whispers. Dante goes still. A book. Dante's Inferno. He said it belonged to his family. He told me to keep it safe. Dante's eyes sharpen. Where is it now? I left it behind. In Florence. Dante pulls out his phone. Then that's where we're going. Florence. Her voice breaks as the name leaves her mouth. You want me to go back to Florence? Yes. Dante replies without hesitation. We leave in 2 hours. Pack light. We won't be there long. The room tilts around her. I can't, she whispers. I can't go back there. He lifts his eyes from his phone, expression cold and unwavering. You don't have a choice. There's always a choice, she insists, voice trembling. Not anymore. He pockets the phone and steps closer. That book Luca gave you, if it's what I think it is, it's the key. To everything. To why he died. To who killed him. It's just a book, she repeats, almost begging for it to be insignificant. Nothing with Luca was ever just anything. His jaw hardens as he speaks. My family used books for generations. Codes. Names. Locations. Money routes. All hidden in plain sight. Her breath falters. Suddenly she sees it again. The worn leather cover. The faded spine. The thin pencil marks along the margins. Oh God! What kind of marks? Dante asks, voice sharp. I thought they were notes, she whispers. I didn't understand. I didn't look. I left it behind. Stop. Dante grips her shoulders, not harsh, but grounding. You were running. You didn't know. But if I had taken it, you'd be dead. He cuts in. They would have tracked you down, taken it from you, and killed you afterward. Her chest aches. He was protecting me, she murmurs, voice breaking. He always was, Dante agrees quietly. And now we finish what he started. She wipes her face, forcing her breathing steady. The apartment, she says slowly. It's been 6 years. Someone else lives there now. We can't just. I'll handle it, Dante says. You only need to remember where it was. She closes her eyes and lets the memory surface. The tiny apartment. The narrow street below the window. The night she fled. The book resting on the small wooden shelf beside the bed. I remember, she whispers. Good. He checks his watch. The plane leaves at midnight. And if the book isn't there? She asks. His silence is answer enough. Finally, he speaks. Then we have nothing left. The weight of those words sinks deep into her bones. She forces a breath. I need to shower. And change. There are clothes in the bedroom, Dante says. I'll be back in 90 minutes. Be ready. Dante. He stops at the door. If we find it, what then? We use it, he answers. We find who killed Luca. And after, a long pause. After, he says finally, you disappear. For good. Her voice is barely audible. And you. I return to what's left of my life. The door closes behind him with a final click. For a moment, she stands frozen. Terrified. Exhausted. Determined. She showers quickly. Dresses in dark, simple clothes. Ties her hair back. The woman staring back in the mirror is different. Harder. Colder. Awake. Exactly 90 minutes later, the lock beeps. Dante walks in wearing dark clothes and a leather jacket. His expression is carved from stone. Ready? He asks. She nods. Ready. They ride the elevator down in silence. The car waits in the garage, engine running. They get in. As the city lights slide past the window, a realization strikes her. She's not going back to Florence to retrieve a book. She's going back to confront the past that nearly destroyed her. And this time, she will not run. The private jet is smaller than she expected. Sleek. White. Silent. Designed to slip through the world unseen. The kind of aircraft that exists only for people who live outside the rules everyone else follows. They walk through a private terminal with no lines, no security, no questions. Dante nods to a man in a suit, and just like that, they're allowed through. Elena climbs the steps slowly. Her legs feel heavy, like every movement costs something she no longer has. Inside, the cabin is polished wood and deep leather seats, lit by warm lights that try and fail to make the space feel human. It's quiet. Too quiet. It feels less like a luxury aircraft and more like the inside of a secret. Dante gestures to a seat. Sit. She sits. Buckles the belt. Her fingers tremble. She hopes he doesn't notice. The engines start. A low, growing hum that vibrates through the floor and into her bones. The jet pulls forward, gathering speed. Elena closes her eyes as the wheels lift from the ground. For a moment, she feels weightless. Disconnected. Unsafe in every direction. First time flying private? Dante asks. First time flying toward a life I don't want, she replies quietly. He accepts that answer with a simple nod. The jet climbs fast. The city shrinks into a scattering of lights and blurred memories beneath them. In the stillness that follows, Dante studies her. Tell me about him, he says. She hesitates. Her throat tightens. Luca was kind, she says. Gentle. He laughed easily. He cared about things that mattered only to him. Art. Poetry. Small moments. Dante listens without interrupting. He felt safe, she whispers. Dante's jaw flexes. Safe. He made me believe life could be normal. That I could be normal. She looks down at her hands. I didn't know he was hiding anything. I couldn't see it. He didn't want you to see it. Silence stretches. When did you first feel something was wrong? Dante asks. She exhales slowly. There was a night. At a restaurant. A man came to our table. Luca changed. His entire face shifted. He left with that man. 2 hours later, he came back covered in someone else's blood. What did you do? I pretended nothing happened, she says. Because the truth terrified me more than the lie. Dante closes his eyes briefly, like he understands too well. Elena stands and pours herself water from the small bar. Her hand shakes so badly some spills on the counter. What really happened to him? She asks. Dante's voice is low. He tried to escape. He took evidence, names, accounts. He planned to trade everything for his freedom. With who? People who promised protection. People who betrayed him. Dante looks toward the window. His reflection is bleak. My father ordered the hit. His own son. The breath leaves her body like a blow. She sinks back into the seat. And you? I'm doing what he couldn't, Dante says. I'm finishing it. You're going to destroy your own family. They're not my family anymore. Elena studies him. You loved him, she says softly. He doesn't answer. But the silence is enough. And suddenly, she realizes. She isn't the only one on this plane who lost everything. Florence at dawn looks exactly as she remembers. Golden light spilling over terracotta rooftops. Narrow cobblestone streets still damp from the night. The smell of espresso and fresh bread drifting from cafes opening their doors like they have for centuries. It's beautiful. And it makes her want to scream. The car moves slowly through the old city. Past the Duomo. Past the Ponte Vecchio. Past places that once meant joy, and now only mean loss. Elena sits rigid in her seat. Hands clenched. Eyes forward. She can't look outside. Not yet. Dante sits beside her. Silent. He hasn't spoken since they landed. He just handed her a coffee at the airport and walked her to the waiting car. The driver navigates the maze of streets with ease. Left. Right. Another left. Deeper into the heart of Florence. Into neighborhoods tourists never notice. The car stops in front of a narrow yellow building. 4 stories. Cracked paint. Green shutters. Elena's breath catches. This is it, she whispers. Dante nods. 3rd floor. Apartment C. How do you? I know everything, he says, stepping out. Come. She follows him. Every movement feels disconnected, like her body is moving without her. He unlocks the building door with a key she's never seen. You broke in, she murmurs. I made arrangements. Up the stairs. The old wood creaks beneath their steps. The sound echoes like ghosts she left behind. 3rd floor. Apartment C. The door is new, but the dent near the handle is still there. Dante unlocks it. The apartment is smaller than she remembers. Different furniture. Different paint. But the bones are the same. The window with the view of the street. The kitchen. The bedroom door. She walks toward it slowly, like approaching her own grave. Inside, sunlight spills across the bed. There's a dresser. A bookshelf. A bookshelf. Her heart jumps. She crosses to it. Runs her fingers along the spines. Nothing. Not the leather-bound inferno. Not anything old. It's not here, she whispers. Dante scans the shelf. This is where you left it. Yes, right here. She points to the empty space. It was right here. He calls someone in Italian. Fast. Urgent. We'll find it, he says. What if it's gone? It's not gone. You don't know that. I know Florence, he says. Books don't get thrown away here. She sits on the bed, her head in her hands. This was a mistake. No, Dante says, kneeling in front of her. This is exactly where we need to be. She closes her eyes, and the book appears in her memory. Leather cover, gold lettering, worn pages, And in the margins. Numbers, she whispers. Dante's head lifts. What kind of numbers? Small. Pencil marks. Next to certain lines. What lines? She tries to focus. Canto 1. And Canto 5. I remember more marks there. Dante is already typing. What else? Some lines were underlined. Softly. You'd miss them if you weren't looking. Dante stands. Then we go to the library, he says. The library. The Biblioteca Nazionale, he answers. They'll have multiple editions. We'll find the marked passages. Reconstruct everything. Elena hesitates. This is insane. Dante holds out his hand. You loved him, he says quietly. And love remembers. She takes his hand. And they leave the apartment behind, along with the life she once lived here. They sit. Dante pulls on the gloves. Opens the book with delicate hands. The spine creaks softly. The pages whisper like something alive. Elena leans forward. And then she freezes. Because the text on the page is familiar. In a way that sends chills up her spine. Italian on the left. English on the right. And in the margins. Pencil marks. Faint. Almost invisible. Her breath catches. Oh my God, she whispers. This is it. This is the same edition. You're sure? Dante asks. Yes. Look. Canto 1. She points, her finger trembling. Here. Those numbers. I remember them. Dante takes pictures with his phone. Methodical. Focused. What else? He asks. She flips forward. Canto 5. The Circle of the Lovers. Paolo and Francesca. Condemned forever. More pencil marks. More numbers. More secrets hiding in plain sight. They move page to page. Quiet. Fast. Precise. The librarian watches them from a distance, suspicious, but silent. 20 minutes pass. Then Elena reaches Canto 34. The final canto. The frozen lake. The traitors. The darkest pit. And in the margin beside Judas Iscariot. Luca's handwriting. Not numbers. Words. Her heart drops. Per Elena. Perdonami. For Elena. Forgive me. The brokenness in her chest comes roaring back. Dante sees her reaction. His hand rests briefly over hers. Just long enough to anchor her. Photograph it, she whispers. There's more. Below the apology. A long numerical sequence. And beneath that, geographic coordinates. Dante's entire expression shifts. Cristo, he breathes. What? Elena asks. These coordinates, he types fast. They're here. In Florence. Near the river. What's there? A private bank, he says. Old. Discreet. The kind that doesn't ask questions. He photographs the page. Closes the book with careful precision. We need to go, he says. But the librarian said. Elena. Now. Something in his voice. Makes her stand instantly. They return the book. Dante thanks the librarian. He slides something discreetly into her hand. Money. Questions disappear instantly. They leave the library. The sun is brighter than before. Too bright for what they just uncovered. A different car is waiting. They get in. The bank, Dante tells the driver. Elena's pulse thunders. What do you think is there? She whispers. Everything, he replies. Names. Accounts. Evidence. The truth Luca died to protect. And if we can't access it, we can. His voice is absolute. Certain. How? Dante looks at her. And for the first time today, something like awe fills his eyes. Because the account is under your name. It takes her a moment to understand. Then the world tilts. What? Luca trusted only you, Dante says. Even after 6 years. Elena sits frozen, unable to breathe. The car speeds through Florence, toward the river, toward the unknown, toward everything Luca left behind, and everything he died for. My Elena, if you're reading this, then I'm already gone. And I'm sorry. For everything. For the lies. For the danger. For loving you the way I did. You deserved more than the half-life I offered. The stolen moments. The careful distance. You deserved someone whole. Someone clean. But I was selfish. I took what I could of you. And I never regretted anything more. Except maybe not telling you the truth sooner. By now, Dante has found you. My brother. My opposite. Where I was weak, he is strong. Where I ran, he stayed. He will protect you. Trust him. Especially when it feels difficult. The information in this envelope will destroy our family. Every name. Every account. Every crime committed in our name for 3 generations. It's all here. I collected it over 5 years. Piece by piece. Secret by secret. Knowing that one day, I'd have to choose. Them. Or you. And I chose you. Even after you were gone. Even believing I'd never see you again. I still chose you. Use this information however you need. Burn it. Hide it. Expose it to the world. I just needed you to have the choice I never had. And Elena, cara mia, if any part of you still remembers loving me, know this. I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day. Forgive me. Or don't. But live. Please. Live the life we never got to have. Always yours. Luca. The letter slips from her hands. Her vision blurs. Her chest caves in. A sound escapes her throat, raw and broken. Dante steps forward. He pulls her into his arms. Lets her collapse against him. I loved him, she chokes out. I loved him so much. And I left him. He wanted you to leave, Dante says gently. He needed you to leave. It's the only reason you're alive. He died alone. He died knowing you were safe, Dante whispers. And that was enough for him. She sobs until her body has nothing left. Until her grief burns itself empty. Slowly, she pulls back. Her eyes are swollen. Her voice is barely audible. What do we do now? Dante lifts the envelope. The USB drive. The proof. Now, he says quietly, we finish it. He opens the envelope. Spreads the documents across the table. Names. Dates. Transactions. Politicians. Judges. Police chiefs. People who should have protected the innocent. People who never did. Is it enough? She asks. It's more than enough, Dante says. This will bring down the entire organization. Then we take it to the police. He shakes his head. Half the police are in these documents. Then who do we take it to? The world. Elena looks at the evidence. At what Luca died to protect. What happens when it gets out? My father will come for me, Dante answers. There is no fear in his voice. Just truth. You don't have to die for this, she whispers. Maybe not, he says softly. But I'm willing to. Luca wouldn't want that. He's gone. It matters, she insists. It matters to me. Silence settles. Heavy. Real. Finally, Dante nods once. Then we do it your way, he says. Smart. Careful. And together. For the first time, it feels like hope. Even here. In the darkest place. Where grief and love collide. The villa sits alone on a hillside, surrounded by vineyards and tall cypress trees that look like silent guardians. It feels untouched by time. The car stops at the rusted gate. Elena steps out, reaches behind the ivy-covered pillar, finds the old metal box. The key is still inside. She unlocks the gate. It groans open in protest. They drive up the gravel path toward the house, its windows shuttered, its stone walls weathered. It feels abandoned. Forgotten. Perfect. Inside, there's dust everywhere. White sheets cover the furniture like ghosts. The air is heavy. Still. A grandfather clock stands frozen at 3:15. Dante scans each room quickly, methodically, windows, exits, angles. It'll work, he says. We need power. There's a generator. Downstairs. They go to the cellar, dark, cold, smelling of earth and old wine. Dante starts the generator. Lights flicker on upstairs. Back in the main hall, he clears a large table, opens his bag, and begins setting up equipment. Laptop, drives, satellite connection. Everything precise. Controlled. Elena hands him the USB drive. He plugs it in. Files appear instantly. Hundreds. Documents, audio, photos, videos. Elena watches one clip. A warehouse, dimly lit. Men exchange money over something wrapped in plastic. The camera is hidden. Luca filmed this. 4 hours, they organize everything. Dante uploads copies to encrypted servers. Sets up automatic releases. Multiple backups. Insurance. Elena makes coffee in the dusty kitchen. They drink in silence. As evening falls, golden light filters through the shutters, cutting the room in half. Finally, Dante closes his laptop. It's ready. To send. Elena asks quietly. To end this. He looks at her. Last chance to walk away. She thinks of the last 6 years. Running. Hiding. Pretending. No more running, she says. I want this. For Luca. For Luca. Dante presses send. The files upload instantly, sent to international newspapers, investigative networks, broadcasters. Too many to silence. Replies come quickly. Confirmation. Interest. Shock. It's done. Dante walks to the window, voice low. They'll know we were here by morning. How long do we have? If we run. A few hours. Maybe. He grabs the prepared documents. Passports. Money. Contacts. Separate routes. Different countries. That was always the plan. Elena hesitates. So we just disappear again? Alone. He doesn't answer. Then his phone vibrates. He reads the message. They've already traced us, he says. They're coming. How long? Less than an hour. They pack fast. Erase everything they touched. 5 minutes later, they're in the old Alfa Romeo in the garage. The engine roars to life. Dante drives hard through the curves, away from the villa. Elena looks out the window as darkness swallows the house behind them. For years she ran out of fear. Tonight, she runs with purpose. And she's not alone. If you stayed through Elena's journey, thank you. Stories like this remind us that love survives, even through fear, loss, and impossible choices. And sometimes, the bravest thing we can do is stop running. If this story moved you, hit like. Subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. And tell me in the comments. Do you think Elena and Dante deserve a second chance? Can two broken people build a future together? Or are some wounds too deep? Your thoughts matter. This community matters. And I'll see you in the next story. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and never stop believing in tomorrow.